Hello, welcome back to Let's Talk Title with Emerald Coast Title Services. I'm ECTS President and host, Dion Moniz.
I am Ashley Bowen, ECTS DOO and licensed title agent.
So we're back today to give you yet some more legal updates. Last few episodes have been about updates and or new laws coming down the pike, and we've got two more to talk about today. Yeah, so 'tis the season for changes in the laws. So the first one we'll talk about is it goes into effect January 1st of 2024, and that changes the requirements for deeds. And it's addressed in statute 695.26, but Ashley, why don't you tell our audience what's changing?
So the change is that they're now requiring the witnesses not only signature and printed name, but now they're having you add your address to the deed. I don't really know why. I don't know that it's going to help anything, but I do know that in, I want to say it's Lake County, they are doing a trial for what a new law would be, where they're requiring driver's licenses of the signer, of the grantor, be recorded with the deed.
Right.
And so I think definitely all of this is happening to prevent fraud.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that putting witnesses' addresses on a deed is going to prevent fraud, because you could make up an address. Yeah. No one's going to check. But that's the new thing. So now we have new lines on the deed. The deed's going to be a little bit longer. The signing is going to take a little bit longer. And we've ordered address stamps from Etsy with all of our company addresses on them.
It's all about efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even though this law doesn't go into effect until January, we've already implemented the changes.
We have.
Trying to stay proactive. So maybe, I guess if you're doing a remote signing and you get a deed back, I guess the addresses might be a way of confirming the witnesses are real people, because you can try to look them up.
Or if there's a problem with the deed, I guess you could send a letter to the witness and try to track down the signer.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So it makes sense. Because,
Ish.
I mean, if you try to read my signature, you're not going to know who it is.
No, that's definitely the truth.
So an address would help out there. All right, that's the first change. That's the easy one. This other one's not hard, but it's just a little more in depth, and that's with regards to mortgage payoffs. So we've actually experienced issues.
We had this
with that
2 summers ago, I think now, where it was right in the midst of the COVID real estate chaos, where everything was going so fast, everybody was working from home. We got a payoff statement from a lender. They sent it to us. We used that and closed, and then about 4 months later, that payoff lender contacted us and said that their system had miscalculated the interest and the payoff was $69,000 short. They were going to send us that money back and not release our property. And you got on the phone and said, no way. And you had to get angry with them and make them not send the money back and actually release the property. Or we were going to have to file a claim with their title insurance, which is why we get title insurance, people. But that situation that happened to us 2 years ago can never happen again.
Right.
After this.
Exactly. So statute 701.04 has now been amended. As of October the 1st, and whatever mortgage payoff a lender sends, that's valid for, I think it's 60 days. Now, if they change it before the payoff is sent, so if the title company gets a revised one before the payoff's actually sent, then the new one supersedes. But if the title company pays the lender in reliance on the payoff statement, then the lender must abide by those figures. So even if they made a mistake, like in our situation, where their computer glitched out and didn't calculate the payoff amount properly, we are now they're legally obligated to honor those numbers.
I was just thinking, this happened to me again a few months ago, where we had a payoff and we paid it, but the mortgage holder had paid an insurance check or something between the time that we got our payoff statement and we paid the loan off, but they didn't send us an updated payoff. So we sent the amount that we thought we were supposed to send, and then a couple weeks later they said, hey, the payoff's not right, it's not enough.
Yeah.
So this, if it's happened to me a few times. So I'm very glad to see that there's a new law going into effect to stop that from happening.
Absolutely.
So that we can rely on the payoff statements that we get at closing.
Yeah, and it even has an attorney fee clause in there. So
ooh, I like that.
Yeah, if the lender sends the payoff and doesn't abide by it, then they have to pay attorney's fees and costs when they lose that lawsuit. So that's good. Gives good teeth in it.
Yes, great.
So most lenders are smart, and they say the payoff is up to a certain date. So obviously that's the controlling date in those letters.
Well, right. But in my situation, I paid mine off before that good through date was up, and so my payoff should have been valid in both of my situations.
Yeah. So now, instead of me having to get on the phone and argue angrily with the lender as to why they have to abide by their payoff statement, now it will be law. And so now I can just point to the statute and say, if you don't abide by it, you're going to get sued and you're going to have to pay attorney's fees and costs. So really good change in the law. I'm glad they did. I'm sure it was just for us.
No, they did. They knew I was having trouble with these lenders lately. And I love those attorney fees clause being stuck in there.
Yep, absolutely. So two really good changes in the laws. If you don't use ECTS for closings, well, you should. But if you don't, make sure they're using the proper deed forms. So make sure there's 2 witness addresses on that deed, at least after January 1. But if you use us, you don't have to worry about it.
That's true. And so you guys know, if you're witnessing deeds at other title companies, I asked and was told that it's okay for us to use our business address. We don't have to use our personal home address on these documents that are getting recorded in public record. So I would use your business address.
Yeah, good point. All right, so that's the 2 legal updates. Lastly, we wanted to give a little shout out. So we've recently been honored with actually making the top 30 best title insurance podcasts list by FeedSpot. And so, but for all our great listeners, I don't think that would be possible.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, I think we're number 13 right now. So big thank you to our listeners.
I didn't even know anybody listened to us.
I didn't know there was a best title podcast list, but there is, and
we're on it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So thank you to FeedSpot for recognizing us, and for including us on that list. We're really grateful. If you want to see it, you can Google it or go to feedspot.com. All right, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Kind of short and sweet, but important information. So again, we're always looking for new topics to talk about, so send us a message. Please visit our social media pages and like us or subscribe. And in the meantime, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.